Hello?
I wish I could do a good pantomime
Hello?
instead.
Can you hear us now?
Loud noises.
Can you hear us
Hello.
now? Okay.
Okay.
Everyone that would come in to fix it is like not in today. So
Yeah.
if we have any issues, everyone, that's it. We're just gonna have to end the stream.
We'll just be our own tech support. We'll try very hard.
But welcome everyone. When I was doing my little monologue at the start, I was saying, we don't know why the music isn't playing in the intro or the outro, but we will take a look at it. We're not sure why. We're not sure why. It says it's playing, but for some reason it's just not going out. Audio out of sync. There's nothing we could do.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't know.
We'll be small, so you don't have to look at our lip sync.
All okay on my end?
Oh, is it me who is on out of sync, or?
It's sync for me. Okay. It's not okay.
Yeah.
Anna's in the chat. Who I will. Anna, please. I'll need you to tech support.
Please save us.
Hi, Stephen, as well. Hello, everyone. Yes, we are joined by our first deaf guest. Do you want to say who you are? Introduce yourself.
Ooh, I didn't know I was the first. Hi, everybody. I'm Jana. I am a game designer with the Living World team. I've been with Guerrilla for 6.5, close to 7 years now. Anna and I actually started roughly around the same time.
Cute.
Yeah. So I worked on Horizon Zero Dawn. I worked on the DLC for Zero Dawn, and then
now you're here.
Now I'm here. So I was here from the start of this project, and what we're going to look at today is actually one of the first things I ever worked on, which is chain scrape. And the settlements. So the Living World team is a team that looks at all the little settlements, like from the really small towns to the big capitals, and we do the layout work there. We have environment artists on Living World, and then we also do the crowds, so all of the characters that walk around that aren't quest characters. So there's a bunch of stuff that falls under that umbrella that hopefully some of you will like to learn about.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I think we are open to questions. I've seen a couple of people ask in the chat.
Yeah.
We are open to questions. Of course, if there's something that we can't answer or maybe we don't even know, like we didn't work on that, we won't answer the question. It's not that we're ignoring you. It's that
it's just
we
that
we can't answer it,
It's just that we don't know, and we'll try to get someone else for a subsequent stream who maybe can shed some light on that.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely want to have like more guests on, but you're our first one. Yes. Okay. I think we can jump into at least looking at the game.
Yes.
I'm like controlling the stream deck today, which I've never done, everyone. And I'm terribly afraid I'm going to press something silly. Oh.
Yeah, and there's a cable here that I might ruin, so we're off to a great start.
So what can you tell us about chain scrape?
So like I mentioned, chain scrape was actually one of the very first things we started working on for this game. From what I remember, it was the first settlement. And
the very first settlement?
I think it was the very first. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we started on chain scrape before we started on Barren Light.
That's really cool. Okay.
And I quite liked it because the Ostrom, of course, were a returning tribe. I'd worked on Pitchcliff, and then we also had Freeheap in the first game. So we'd done 2 smaller settlements. So we knew a lot about them already, about their culture, about their architecture, and about stuff that we can do with Ostrom that we can't with the other tribes. So one thing, for example, that maybe we can take a closer look at later is this beautiful, beautiful sawmill over here.
We've seen people like obsess over this on social media.
I am so glad, because this was honestly one of the things that our team really wanted to try and make, because we knew the Ostrom were like the big tinkerers of the Horizon world, right? Like they're the tribe that consists of the most builders and architects, and they're really mechanical. So we wanted to do some really, really cool mechanisms that kind of people can interact with and people can watch. So that was a really big push on our team. Like I think we had like a big hammer and a water wheel in the first game, and we were like, okay, how far can we take this? Can we do mechanisms that interlock, right? Like the sawmill powering the part that gets the logs out of the water, and then having the sawmill actually pop out the planks.
Yeah.
And then you see people carry the planks and use them elsewhere. Like that was a really, really big thing that was super fun to kind of figure out, and that is unique to this tribe. So I was super excited to see them come back. Oh, and of course nobody's working here because we need to tell people, that the Daunt has been cleared. Shall we maybe do that?
Yeah, you can do. I watched the sawmill for like half an hour before moving on. So detailed. Sawmill is a main character. Love the Osram.
Yes.
I've gotten stuck in it a few times, but I still love it. Foibles, what are you doing in there? Get out of there.
Yeah. So that was really, really fun. And then the other, so like I think we knew we were gonna have a forge, and then the sawmill was kind of a thing that came out naturally because we knew this was going to be a town that has to support the construction of Barren Light.
Yeah.
And we wanted them to have some industry here. And the other big thing was the pub.
Oh, the little tavern.
Yeah, so we should definitely go take a look at that.
Yes,
but let's maybe talk to this man who is always so impatient for us. Hello.
The way to Barren Light is clear. Get moving.
You're not errant vanguardsman. I will move only when the captain
When
says...
I've cleared out all the bristlebacks, which I have. Captain's orders.
So they're okay?
Banged up, but breathing. And waiting up ahead for you.
But I was supposed to have 3 escorts.
I'm off to Barren Light, buddies. Like Aloy said, captain's orders. You can stay here.
Abandoned to the riffraff? I think not.
I love this
Guess
scene
you're
so
coming
much.
with me then.
I've seen this a
See you
dozen
there,
times. It still gets me.
Abandoned to the riffraff?
Oh, his voice actor did such a fantastic job.
Yes.
Go on.
Stephen in the chat says, can you tell us about the woman who stumbles around talking about how round things are?
Oh, I actually don't think
can
that's
finally get underway.
scripted. I
Really?
think,
If I can get through it.
or if it is that
I'll
was
be
way
able to
past
track
me. No,
down
I think that's
Silence.
part of our just the
Babies.
contextual system. So we have people like stumbling
Guess I
around
can head
drunk.
straight for Barren Light.
That is a thing that's by
Program
design
done first.
because of course they're not allowed to work. So what do?
You just
In
hang
a-
around.
Right, like in an industry town, when the industry's closed down, well, you go to the pub. You have you have a pint or two. So we wanted to have all these like drunk people kind of like stumbling around, waiting for this to happen, right? For the work blockage to stop. So hopefully, when we come down there, we're gonna start people slowly getting back to work. But yeah, I think the woman who's obsessed with round things is actually like a somewhat organic interaction that comes out of that system of having people just walk around, having people have different attitudes and different personalities. Drunk is an attitude to have, and then having like voice lines for them. Hello, good sir.
I feel like I saw one of the devs say on Twitter that depending on the time of day, depends on how drunk they may be when they're like moving through this area.
There's a whole thing. So if we go into the bar where there's people who are sitting at the tables, and if it gets late enough, some of them will fall asleep without actually getting out of their seats. Like some of them are gonna go home, and some of them are gonna sleep here. Which that's depending on time of day. So there's kind of a degree to that.
That's really cool.
And then this is our other pride and glory that we started working on really, really early. Like we decided this was a good showcase for what our systems could do.
Yeah.
Right. So we wanted to have this whole cycle where we have a bartender here, and if someone orders a drink, then the barmaid is going to come and actually pick up that mug, and then go over to a keg and fill it and serve the person. And that is something that we have in the game that we created.
Yeah.
Currently, people are just about getting here, so they haven't ordered yet. So we knew we were gonna have a bar, and then we're like, well, they're in the middle of nowhere in Karja territory. If they want to have a bar, they're gonna need a brewery.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
yeah.
I love this little tavern area. It's
Yeah.
so awesome.
It's so fun. So yeah, and again, like we're coming back to their tinkerers, they have mechanisms, right? So they have this whole thing that moves the barrel across and then lowers it. Because why carry something when you can make the ceiling carry it for you?
I know. I used to work in a pub, everyone, and this was the worst part, moving these around. So this is genius.
Right? I love it. And yeah, I know Katarina, one of our animators, like put in a lot of love and work into like getting that barrel to feel like it has a weight to it, like have it balance correctly and all that kind of like level of detail to really make it feel lifted. And then kind of the other joke was, so the environment artist for Chainscrape, Tyler, he was doing a lot of research on how beer gets made. Right, so that we have, so this is pretty accurate. Please don't quiz me on it. But yeah, we have kind of like, you know, like the hop being fermented, and then we have the kettles, and they're adding heat with the colds and everything, because we wanted it to not just be there's mystery liquid in a keg somewhere. We wanted to show how things get made, right? How these tribes built their settlements, how they survive in this world, and how things get crafted. And yeah, the joke there was that this was one of the first things we started on was the pub, the brewery for Chainscrape, and the other thing was a logging camp. And Tyler's Canadian and I'm German, so we did beers and lumberjacks. We were very typecast in the dons. But yeah, this is still one of my favorite areas. And if I remember correctly, where's I know there's a hidden boar toy somewhere in here, but I don't quite remember where. Is it down here? No. God damn it.
That's okay. You can have a little look.
Yes.
I'll speak to the
Yes.
chat. Just so everyone knows, this is going to be a relatively like the purpose of the stream is not to like progress through the story. It's to talk about, you know, your experiences, what you did on the project, things like this. So if we don't get to like the embassy or anything, don't worry about it. But we want to know, like, I mean, I'm learning. I'm having a great time. I know the chat is too.
Yeah.
I think we will still get to Baron Light today,
Yes.
but I think it will be quite
Yeah. This is another one of my favorite little things is these arm wrestlers. So like if you're playing the game for yourself, absolutely like take a moment to stand here. I think their dialogue is absolutely hilarious. Also, Grüße aus Essen, Grüße zurück aus Mönchengladbach, wir sind Nachbarn.
progression, I don't know how. I want to get the juicy details of this game.
Listen, we're gonna get to it. It takes some time. But yeah, this is one of my favorite things. This went through a lot of iterations as well. Like we had the base shape quite early. Like we wanted this to be round and have the kind of the brewery portion sticking out. But this looked so much better with every art pass. Like when we got those kind of those roof pieces coming in, so you have light streaming through, and that kind of translates into the shadows. You're like every single time something like that came in, I was once again blown away. I'm like, holy crap, this is going to be really, really cool. And then because I worked on this settlement, there's got to be piggies.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, and they have a little door over there so they can go to the outside. And we're not going to tell them why they're in here.
No.
We're not going to.
No. Not this.
Yes. Oh, there it is. There it is, the little boar toy.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, this is another one of my favorite things. Like we really wanted kids to have a little bit more interaction.
Yeah, there's
in this
so many
one.
kids.
Yeah, that was a big thing for us as well, was kind of going like, how does childhood differ between these tribes, right? Like, so with the Ostrom, we wanted them to have like crafted little toys because they do have really crafty parents, but also kind of like play at the life of an adult. So I think there's a little child-sized anvil in the forge as well, versus the like some of the later tribes where the kids go around with sticks and fight like little warriors.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it's so cute. I was so excited when I saw like the first concept brief for that toy. I was like, oh my god, we're actually gonna get that. And then the animators were like, yeah, we're gonna animate that. Like we're gonna have little kids picking up their toys, playing with them, and I think I was gonna bring it back. Yes. Oh, good boy. Thank you for cleaning up. You're a much better child than I was at your age.
I just imagine like drunk people accidentally stepping on it and sliding around the cabin.
It's the banana peel of the Forbidden West. Yeah, and then we have like the Prospectors. So these are the slightly rougher looking characters. They kind of have their own corner and they're waiting, you know, for the embassy to be over so they can go out and follow the gold rush to the west. But yeah, I love this. I love this whole section. Like I said, it was something that we started working on really early, and so many people like poured their resources together with having the board game here, having Petra here. There's so many things that added to this base idea of the Ostrom should have a pub.
Yes.
Which I just love how that came out.
So how are you at Strike?
I am pretty bad at it.
Oh, that's okay.
Unfortunately.
So me and Anna,
Yeah.
we need to bring someone on who's like a Strike expert who can actually show people how to do it, because we don't want people to like tune in and watch me and Anna
Yeah.
lose.
Yeah, no, I am not good at like strategizing in board games. I'm really good at board games like Werewolf, where you just need to lie to people a lot. That's more my strength, but you can't poker face in this one.
No.
So
It's all about strategy.
yeah. Let me see if I can find the little kid animal, but I don't know. That's currently in use. So yeah, the Forge was another one where we knew pretty early on we wanted that kind of area. We had a pretty good feeling that we were going to have a merchant involved, and it just seemed like a really good place to showcase people working together like this, right? Like having people that do things in pairs, and like not just having a single person hammering away. Like, yeah, there you go. Come on, get the bellows going. Like that was really a huge focus.
Yeah.
Aw, don't look at me, lady. Look at your work. Those are hot embers. Don't let me mistake you. And yeah, again, just like showing how the things that exist in the world get made, right? Like, so them having the copper plates here, because that's something that's on a lot of the environment artists.
Yeah.
Environment pieces, like that was something we really wanted to put a focus on. This is a frontier town, right? Like Chainscrape is a really young settlement compared to some of the ones that we built in Zero Dawn, and also compared to a lot of stuff in Forbidden West. Like these people have only just gotten here quite a while ago, and they're still investing in this town, and they're still building it out. That was really something we wanted to bring in.
Yeah.
I've heard of your
Larissa, when you say anyone else have no sound, are you talking about the stream or are you talking about the game? Because we did turn the game audio down a little bit, but I hope the sound hasn't just completely left the stream.
This is also one of my favorite little dumb things that I put in the game was when we knew this was going to be the merchant's house pretty early on. Like we weren't quite sure which merchant, but we knew a merchant was going to live here, and I said I want him to have a roommate. So I was like, if we have such a nice little house, and we know the merchant is going to be available to you at the front, I want something to go on in the back. So he has a little roommate that just prepares the things that you can buy.
That's cool. That's a nice
Yeah.
touch.
Is there something we need to stock up on for the embassy?
Not that
Stealth,
I know of.
protection.
I don't think.
Oh.
Yeah, so we bought this.
Yeah.
We bought the Awesome Explorer.
Yeah, let's keep that. We all know what Nora Huntress looks like.
Remember,
Let's rock some awesome
best armor on the
fashion.
market.
I actually quite like this outfit. It looks real comfy.
Okay, good, Larissa. It was the stream I had to close my
Brought
app
out
and
only the good
restart.
stuff for you.
I'm embarrassed.
no.
Don't
See
be,
if
don't
you
be.
got that whistle
It's
blow.
okay. And they were roommates.
I've been waiting to get my life fixed for days.
You haven't done anything useful like getting rid of any bristlebacks, though, have you? Take your time. I promise you won't be disappointed.
I really like these two characters as well because they just keep on
Yes.
bickering throughout the game.
Yes, Anna loves them
Okay,
too.
yeah.
She mentioned that last stream, I think.
Yeah.
Saying she loves hearing them interact.
Right. So it looks like we could pick up a new weapon. If that's useful for you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna pass on combat because I'm really bad at playing my own game. There's a reason I work on settlements. So
I will do
Yeah.
some combat today.
yes.
I'm a big fan of the sharp shot. So what do we need for
Okay,
that? A
let's
charger
see.
circulator.
Yeah, we can create a job for that. See, I'm the opposite. I always take the short range
Come
ones.
back
The
in.
warrior bow?
Yeah.
I never
Can I
used
get this
that.
fixed?
What?
I can fix it, too.
I like getting up close and
Afraid there's no
personal. I was
fixing
like
you.
pommeling small robots to the ground, and then it's nice to have a short range bow to kind of back that up.
That's true. That's true.
But I also Listen, I'm nostalgic for the fireball more than anything. I think fire damage was what I used the most when I played the first game. The fire arrows and the tear blast arrows. That got me through a lot of dicey situations. So gotta make sure that's available on stream here. Okay, let's see if people are actually using this armor.
What's good for stealth? You better stop, Velociraptor. You better stop out there.
Patience is good for stealth.
They know I am not good at stealth.
No?
Always like, go out there, do some stealth.
I'm great at stealth, but I think that's not very nice for stream to watch. Just me sitting in a bush for 10 minutes waiting for the robot to come around just right.
Oh, I did see a question. Question to both of you. This is Danish Prince. Which of the new tribes did you connect with the most? I felt really attached to the Tanakh. That's an interesting question, everyone. What would you say?
I mean, I shouldn't pick favorites, but yeah, I absolutely love the Tanakh. I worked on a lot of the Tanakh settlements. So I worked on Plainsong as well. Plainsong is kind of my big baby, and then 2 of the Tanakh capitals, and especially for jungle Tanakh. So I'm quite partial to them. I think what I liked about them was that they're warriors at heart, but they're also such show-offs.
Yes.
Like, I love that about them, this idea of, like, to me, a Tanakh will never stab you in a dark alley.
Yeah,
They want to do, yeah, exactly. They want to do that in the light of day, and they want people to see just how cool they were doing it, and I just find that very endearing. So yeah, I liked them a lot. I liked how colorful they are.
Yeah,
that was really fun, and that's another really fun one. Like as a developer, because when you start putting together a settlement like this, usually it's not going to look anything like the finished thing yet, right? Like for the Awesome, it was quite nice because we got to use a lot of pieces from the first game to kind of rough out the shapes, and then have new pieces come in to add the detail, to add that more like frontier look. But for the Tanakh, it was really basic, like blocky architecture, and then see the colors come in later was just so good, so good.
I'm also a really big fan of the Tanakh. I do enjoy the Utaru, but I wouldn't say that I necessarily like relate to them or anything. But I am a big fan of like their culture. I love like the music aspect, the singing. But I think the Tanakh, I'm also the same. A bit of a show off at times.
It's just really fun. I mean, realistically, I'm an Ostrom.
Yeah.
I'm definitely an Ostrom, but I enjoyed working on all the new tribes though, honestly. I don't think there was ever a tribe that I disliked. If anything, like revisiting Ostrom and revisiting Kardra gave me kind of a new appreciation for them.
Yeah.
I miss the Banuk.
Yes.
The Banuk are really fun.
Yes.
It's just not cold enough here.
They are fantastic.
Yeah. Should we head out into the wilds?
Yeah, we can do.
For a little bit. I mean, I'm sure there's more stuff. Oh, there's a quest we should probably pick up.
Oh, yes, we should get this one.
Yes, we should absolutely get this one.
I'm sorry,
It's
I'll be right
caught
with
my
you.
eye, LMAO, especially Katano.
I'm sorry, it's overkill.
Yep, this is what I expected, chat. As soon as I saw these two.
User's arm off. Oh, just stop talking. Where were we?
Yeah, we love her just as much as you
So,
do.
you look like someone who's always searching for a new weapon. Am I right?
Actually,
But you're just nuts. I am with a customer.
I'm not a customer.
I got it! Triple the powder. It'll blow a Strider sky high. Ba-boom. One shot kill. Guaranteed.
So good.
Maybe
So good.
Then you are in the right place at the right time, Red. How would you like to be the proud owner of the world's first machine-enhanced,
kind of want that hat.
Explosive. Done in
It is
one.
fantastic.
Machine
It's
wrecking.
so
yet
fun.
perfectly safe javelin thrower?
I don't think I could pull it off like she does.
Yeah, I'm the same. As much as I love it, I'd feel a bit weird wearing it actually. I never have that much. I never really wear hats.
Yeah, right? Who are you two? We are the best.
Are you two from around here?
Nah, the claim. Dad sent us out west in search of some unknown opportunity. Said we'll know it when we see it.
Sounds like you had other ideas.
Let's just say that opening another trading post for my parents isn't how I want to make my mark in this world. I imagine traveling alone must be nice.
Boomer's first words were boom. I am a huge fan of the javelin. And by the end of the game, I picked up a very, very nice javelin from the Quen. Oh, everyone, I was just using the javelin and the sharp shot by the end.
Oh yeah, the javelin is really fun.
Just a great pairing.
I'm bad at aiming, so I'm more of I like the disc launcher a lot.
Oh, really? The shredder?
Yeah. That one's really fun.
I wasn't very good at that. I liked the catching aspect.
Yeah.
But I wasn't good at catching.
Oh yeah, I'm just like, nah, that's fine.
That
this
one's
is
gone.
This is a one shot.
That's a loss.
Yep. This is just I just want to see it. I just want to see it spin, feel that little rumble, and then go back to whatever I was trying before. But honestly, I love these two.
Yeah, they're great.
I also think like to me they really personify something that we felt was really important to Chainscript, which was this idea of this is a new town. And everyone who's here is here for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Like they came here because there was something they didn't quite get in the claim, and I really love that we have characters that are telling that story for us and with us. Because I think like whenever you go that far away from your home, there's there's an opportunity you're seeking, and we want Chainscript to really have that feel of like, there's people here because they're trying to do something new and something exciting, and I think that's a really fun place to start out with in the game.
Yeah, I agree. The Sunhawk Shredder Gauntlet is predictably my favorite of the class. Foibles, really? I wouldn't have guessed that from you. Deathseeker Bow, my beloved. I never used the Shredder. Help! I never really used it in combat, to be honest. When I was using like everything else instead. Your sound is quite low. I'll have a look. Is there a legendary version of the javelin that has that rotation stuff that digs into machines? I don't know, actually.
I don't know.
Oh, we need to have like a weapons expert.
Yeah, we need to get someone from core design.
So she's your partner?
Mic.
Yeah.
My apprentice.
We'll
and my
let
sister.
Boomer and Dayla
She's
talk
why
in the
we're out
meantime.
here. There was an incident. Another incident.
Involving explosives?
Ba-boom!
And Dad's precious homebrew. He shipped us out the next day.
Huh.
Yeah, they were favorites internally, I think, from the first time we all saw them.
I can
Tell me
imagine.
more about this weapon of yours.
I saw a scroll when I was a kid by some Karja scholar who wandered out west. Had a scary drawing of a Tenakth warrior hunting with a kind of javelin thrower. Effective? Yes. Basic? Undoubtedly. But coming out here made me remember it. And I am on the brink of vastly improving the tool's archaic design.
Whereas I will perfect it.
I can use machine parts to enhance the user's throw, increase the projectile's velocity. Well, Boomer here is adamant that enhancing the projectile is better. Namely with explosive tips.
Boomsticks.
Why not both?
That could work. There's one small snag.
I love this.
I need the parts to make the first working
I love
model.
whenever
Well, for
Aloy
starters,
gets
I'll
to
need
talk
charger horns.
to a person who's also
Intact.
very crafty.
Yes.
Those are some of my favorite
I
moments.
agree.
Just be sure to shoot them off
They
before the
kind of
machine
piece
goes
things
down.
together.
Yeah,
Otherwise they break.
Like, that's why I
Real
really love
innovation. Keep it
Aloy and
yourself.
interactions with
It's a
Awesome.
fanghorn rib.
There's a mean one east of here. Blow it sky high.
Such
Boomer, they are
sibling-
all mean. They are all mean.
It's yours.
Such a
my
sibling
treat.
thing to not consider just
You have a
combining
deal.
their ideas at all.
Yeah, I have a little brother and I can relate. Or we could do that quest, but that might also be something for you and Anna to pick up.
We're happy to do
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Question for both of you: who is your favorite companion for Aloy? Is this
Ooh.
like people that you will eventually have at the base, or
Yeah.
like anybody in the world? I think we've
Yeah.
gone through like our favorite
Yeah.
like side characters and whatnot before. Like I've said a
Mm.
million times, you know, like Vanasha,
Oh,
Talana.
yeah.
But for this game, I think companion-wise, I was a big fan of Kotalo, of course.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
Kotalo's
also
fantastic.
Zoe.
Yeah,
For me.
I love Alva to bits.
Mm.
Alva is so fun to have around. It was so exciting to have a character who also uses the focus and just kind of geeks out with Aloy.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite character from the first game would call himself your partner, but Aloy, I think, disagrees, and that's Nil. I'm a Nil apologist. I miss the pillow.
It's just out there.
I know, it's just out there. It used to be next to my desk.
You should take it back.
Yeah, he has a whole couch. There's a couch that has just become Nil's couch. It's where he sits. He has a little blanket. So when it gets cold,
yeah, that's good.
we take good care of him. But yeah, I'm really fond of Alva and Kotalo. I also really like Yara.
Okay, yeah,
like Yara and Draka a lot.
I'd love to know who people chose. Who did
Yeah.
you choose in that quest line?
Yeah, because in my heart, there's only one answer for that. Yeah, Nil Apologist. You get me. You get me.
It says you were the keeper of the pillow.
I am. I am the current keeper of the pillow. I've not always been the keeper of the pillow. This, by the way, is another one that our team was quite involved in, but that I don't know as much anymore because I designed a very early version of it. Oh yeah, jumpy jump. So the quarry to me was really interesting to work on because again, it was something that we really wanted to have for story reasons because Barren Light is a construction site, right? Like it's a fortress that's being rebuilt, so that means the resources have to come from somewhere. So having a quarry made a lot of sense with how much masonry there is involved with the Karja, and it was really fun because I also worked on the quarry in Zero Dawn, just south of Meridian. So we knew we had a lot of the pieces to make it. And both of those quarries are combat spaces.
Oh, yeah.
So, like the quarry in Zero Dawn, for those who remember the trauma, that's the rock breaker. That's where the rock breaker just comes from underneath the floor and kills you. I hate it. So like the combat obviously took kind of took the priority there. Like that had to fit a really, really giant machine. And similarly here. But I think we knew what we were going for a lot more, so we wanted to have this really like layered effect of them slowly going up the mountain, cutting out these giant chunks of it that we're going to turn into brick at Barren Light, and then again just having like little areas where the workers also relax. That's always a really important thing to me.
A little chill space.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, listen, nobody's going to just cut rock all day. That's awful. And yeah, again, here we have those big mechanisms at work that we really wanted the Ostroms to be known for. Like they're the only people in this world who could conceivably build a crane like this.
Yeah.
That's their thing. So that was really fun to have pieces like that in the game that have really striking silhouettes and big movements and have a person. And as far as I'm aware, our animator Katarina actually like hooked up the crank in a lot of these mechanisms with a certain amount of math to it.
Oh, really?
So that it does correspond to the actual movement, and like when the person slows down, because you're not going to just like do this motion at a super steady pace, then the crane also slows down.
Yeah.
So that it really matches. And I'm like, I am not that good at math. I could not have done that. But it's one of those things that just kind of makes it feel like a little more realistic, gives it a little bit of weight that I quite like. And now let's walk down because we do not have the shield wing yet.
No, I was actually when I started playing today.
Yeah.
When I was like loading in, so we'd move further away from Trainscape, so we can sort of walk in and have the initial look. I was like trying to glide, and I just couldn't glide.
Oh my god!
I was like, "What's going on? It's not gliding."
Listen,
the button's not working.
The amount of times I've fallen out of my own settlements in big meetings. At some point I said we should make like a swear jar for Plainsong because I was really good at falling out of Plainsong.
Let's have a look. A wide variety of traditional Oseram circus tent fabric aesthetic here.
Listen, this is a clown, so I appreciate that.
But yeah, what else? So you mentioned that you worked on some other settlements.
Yes.
Like, what are some of the things that you were like looking at with other settlements as well? Because
Right.
you touched on like the kind of like traits that the Oseram have.
Yeah.
So what were you applying to say the Tanakh?
Right. So for the Tanakh, like a big one was to me was that they're warriors and they work in squads, right? Like their family unit essentially is the squad. So I really wanted them to move around in groups, a lot more so than in pairs. That was a really big thing. And then the other thing was that because they're such visual people and they're so show-offy, I wanted to have a lot of like really clear sight lines for certain places. So like I think the first Tanakh settlement that I worked on is Scalding Spear.
Oh yes,
And Scalding Spear had this, like because they were building on a ruin, it was quite different from how we construct a place like Chainscrape. Like with Chainscrape, we kind of got to pick where it was going to go. We knew it was going to be in the southern bit of the Daunt. So we immediately went Angel's Landing, right? Like this is, like we know this is a real landmark that we're recreating.
Yeah.
This is a real rock formation. So we're like, this is too good to not have a big thing there. And we think that could be quite the beautiful backdrop to the settlement. And I think that really worked out.
Yeah.
Whereas for the Tanakh, especially the desert Tanakh, they built on top of old world ruins. So we knew what the structure underneath was, and we had to take that into account. And for Scalding Spear, the structure underneath is perfectly round, which is beautiful. It's a perfect circle. So I said, like, we have to have something in the center, and ideally, because these people are angry little dogs, we have to have something angry in the middle. So that's how the fighting pit kind of got its little center space. And I said, like, I want to make sure that there's a ton of balconies in this town that are pointing at that, right?
Because like an arena.
Like an arena, right? Like they wanna show off what they can do, and they want to see what everybody else can do.
Yeah.
That was a really, really big part of desert Tanakh culture specifically. And then when I moved on to jungle Tanakh, that became much more about the water. They were the only tribe we had that built near or on water, so we wanted to have that showing through in the settlements quite a lot. And then the Utaru are like completely different in that they're the only tribe that knew true abundance, right? Like the Utaru didn't really have to work so much before the machines started turning on them. So we wanted to make this this whole tribe with the Utaru feel like they have the time to be really artisanal, right? Like everything they make is incredibly elaborate and beautiful. Yeah, right? Like the Ostrom are really like, no, this is a pretty efficient way to build a crane, so we're gonna build that, build it that way. Whereas the Utaru are like, yeah, but we have time to
carving it.
Yeah, it's like we don't need to make this super efficient though. We have time. We have all the food we could want. We have a really gentle climate here, so we can make things for the sake of having them, which I think, especially in a world that's as harsh as the world of Horizon, that's a really interesting statement to make, is abundance, and then what happens when that abundance becomes threatened, right? Like, which is what we're seeing in the story with them. But then, sometimes stuff like this happens, and you get campsites that are abandoned and destroyed because machines are very mean.
Someone in the chat says, so like the Karja, are there like similarities between the Karja and the Utaru?
I think in a sense, I would say there's more, like the ones we always compared because we wanted to make sure we're not doing the same thing twice, was the Karja and the Tanakh, because they both have like really big themes around war, and we wanted to make it clear that the Tanakh, the warriors, and the Karja are soldiers.
Yeah.
I think as far as like the abundance goes, like the Karja and the Utaru are the big farmers. And how we wanted to differentiate that was that the Utaru tend to plant and they nurture them, but they don't necessarily do organized agriculture in the way that the Karja do. Like the Karja will like portion off a field and work that field, which is something that for the Utaru wasn't really necessary because the dredgers take care of a lot of that, but they will keep plants just for the sake of it. Yeah. Right? Like they have a big cultural tie into it with the seed pouches. Yeah. And they tend to flowers. They have a tree in one of their cities. Like that was like a thing where they both overlap, and we just wanted to take kind of two different spins on a similar theme. Yeah. Which I think is what we see. And then again, like you could say a similar thing about the Ostrom and the Quen. Yeah. Right, like the Quen are also quite technological, but in less of a tinker way. And more of an engineering way.
Yeah. Maybe worth taking a look around too.
Yeah, and then what I find super fun about Barren Light is that it's the only city across 2 games that mixes 2 of these cultures. Yeah. Right? Like we had a little bit of Ostrom and Meridian. We had like kind of like the little Ostrom neighborhood right near the bridge. But that was very much the Ostrom have come to the city, and the city is Karja. Whereas here it's like, no, like half of this place is Ostrom because they're the ones who are going to do the reconstruction. So we have like a somewhat disorganized Ostrom campsite here to the right, and then to the left, the like Roman military style camp of the Carja, because they're very different people.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And also, are you gonna do it?
I love watching these guys.
I love this as well. I'm so glad that we found a place for this. This was one of my
A nice little spot.
yeah. This is one of my favorite things that actually survived from Zero Dawn. This is in Zero Dawn as well.
Yeah.
And in Zero Dawn, if you go back, there's 2 versions of this. Because this is from Sunfall, right? Like we had a version of this for the Shadow Carja soldiers training, and then just outside the city gates in the refugee camp, you have the rabble also training to maybe become soldiers, and they're just so bad at this.
Yeah.
Right, like these guys are really synced up with kind of the commands for the animation, and then the refugees are really bad at it.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad we found another spot to use this bit, because I really love it. And this is separate, like for those who get a little bit nerdy about animations, this is not one big network. There is a network for the commander, and then each one of the soldiers is a separate instance that listens to this network. So we are free in how exactly we place them, which is quite nice. That's a really variable way of setting things up, so we can kind of change things around it. Hello, Mr. Taylor Man. What do you have for us? I'm just here for the fashion. Okay, it has the Sentinel one. That is really good, but it's also pricey, and we're saving for a bow.
I'm happy to go over to do the bow section.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then we can do a little bit more of looking at Baron Light later. One thing I really like here is the priest.
Yeah.
So one thing we wanted to also kind of take a closer look at with Forbidden West was how do the merchants actually fit into the world, because we had it somewhat easy with Zero Dawn because the Carja were one of the big tribe, and the Carja are really big on being merchants, right? Like on trade. Whereas here we have mostly tribes that don't do it at all. Like the Utaru pool their resources together and share it, and then the Tanakh have kind of their supply chains towards their capitals, and it's very militaristic, but they don't really buy and sell things amongst themselves. So we were like, well, we're not going to have a market square. What type of characters would still sell to the player? So in this case, this is the herbalist, the character that sells you a lot of like potions and plant-based remedies. So we thought, oh, maybe this could be one of the sun priests, and he could have like a little shrine that he's reconstructing, and where he's tending to these healing plants.
Yeah.
Which is quite different from how that same merchant, the herbalist, is among the Ostrom and Chain Square, where this is someone who works in the bar, right? Like this is someone who's brewing potions in a brewery.
Yeah.
And then the Tanakh, where it is much more of a medic.
Are you seeking passage into no man's land by any chance?
He has such good hair. I'm a little jealous.
Well, to hammer it plain, there's treasure out
What's
west.
the inspiration for the
Unclaimed
Tanakh
scrap
being
and
super
ancient
colourful?
metal.
Full face
And I've
paint,
got a
full
sturdy
body
band
painting,
of
etc.
salvagers.
Oh, I'm not sure I'm the right person to ask for this, because I'm not that involved with character art.
We
But
definitely want to have character artists on in the future, so maybe we may shelve that question. But if you have,
yeah, I know a little bit about. So I know that a lot of the visuals for the Tanakh come from the holograms that they're worshipping, and the way that those holograms glitch. That's why we see so many spikes.
I want that embassy to happen as much as
But where exactly that comes from, at like a deeper level, I'm not the best person to ask. But we know that like the tattoos and the face paint, that was a cultural thing that was really important to them. So that's also why, again, this was something we really wanted to put into the settlement. So with Scalding Spear, knowing that we had that fighting pit in the center and this really focal point, I said that I wanted the 2 best views to be the 2 most important people. So the best view, the tallest building, that's where the commander lives, and the second best one is the tattoo artist, because the tattoo artist has to witness what goes down there, what goes on down there, in order to mark your accomplishments on you. So, and also because, like, conversely, if I make sure this person has a really good view on the central point, that means my player also has a really good view on that person. Sorry, I just touched my microphone. I hope that didn't make a really bad sound for the whole chat.
I do all the time.
Yeah,
Sorry, everyone.
Right, but so like I wanted that to be something that was really, really visible. This kind of like almost ceremonial place of where the arm tattoos are being bestowed.
Yeah.
Because we knew that was something like coming out of kind of the concept art pipeline, like this was something that was going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a much better shot than me. See, I just stealth up to them and then just like kick them through the ground with
I'm
my
not
spear.
a stealthy person at all.
You should have seen me doing bandit camps in the first game. Like me doing Regala camps, like despite being a Nil fan and wanting him to, you know, get his hobby time, effectively he just got to walk behind me as I sit in a lot of bushes. I made it a point to stealth melee kill every single bandit in the game.
Yeah. Sorry everyone, I have to turn the sensitivity down.
Oh. Yeah, we do sit quite close to the screen, so for us, anything with a camera is major. He was there for emotional support, really, you know.
I want the horn.
Give me the horns.
I'm like mentally imagining the extra notches.
Is there a reason why the Charger became the right of choice for Aloy? Again, I'm sure there was. I'm just not aware of it. I don't touch the machines very much because they're big and scary.
We can definitely.
Yeah.
Like, you can't hear me that well. I don't know why. It might be a problem with. I'm gonna take a look after this.
Yeah. I'm very pleased with all the Nil fans joining me in this chat. That's good stuff.
Right, need these.
Love the Atar in this game, but I'm probably a Karja because I care not much about my appearances.
The mic is on.
I mean, I think the Otaru have their own kind of vanity, right? Like they do face paint, they do really elaborate clothes, so you can be an Otaru and care about what you dress. Or you could be a Tanax and really care about what you look like.
The mic is on, everyone, but I'm going to take a look at the deck. I was trying to think of what the word was. At the deck in a second and see if there's anything on that side that I can change. But thanks for letting me know.
Let's get the whip in.
Audio is completely fine here.
Should have enough charger horns.
Is it like so? Am I just super quiet, but everything else is perfectly fine? You are very quiet. Okay, I'll go take a look. You text back a second.
Yeah, sure.
Just the balance.
Now that you've killed it, have we killed it?
Yeah, we should have.
I'm
gonna take a look, everyone.
Where did the loot go?
Oh no, that's not my phone. I need to put the flash on, so I don't have to turn the lights on. Hi everyone. I'm just gonna sort it out. 1 second. 1 second.
Charger circulator. Oh come on, one of you is bound to have that. God damn it! I keep jumping, thinking I could use the shield wing. I've gotten very attached to the shield wing.
Sorry. So I just changed one of the microphones. Am I louder now, or
am you I louder? Sounds like you're making comments from across the room.
Way better. Wait, no, because I'm standing next to you.
Oh yeah, that could be.
Wait. I'm standing next to you. Is it better now? Is it better now?
Okay. Super
cool.
loud.
Is it too loud?
Oh no!
Too loud. Okay, but is it loud or is it too loud?
Sorry, I shouldn't be reading the chat. I should be looking for loot, but...
Yes, a little too loud. No, perfect. What if I turn us both down a bit?
Still don't have it.
I just arrived. Chanté's having problems with her mic. Classic.
Oh!
No!
You need an audio person here as a guest.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. The thing is, we lock the door, so we can't even bring people in to help.
No, that's true. That's true. We are locked in here. So none of the chargers dropped the one piece we need.
Oh, the circulator?
Rude little horsies. Hello, good sir. Oh, good lady. I'm sorry. Cute little horses. But there's another charger site just outside the settlements.
Yeah.
Which,
Let's have another look.
yeah, let's...
Is there something special that we need to do for the circulators, or is it just a case of killing them, everyone?
I think it's just a case of killing
That's what I thought, but maybe I missed something when I was scanning.
Oh, so something where you have to shoot it off?
The sponge has been messing with our setup.
Yeah.
The sponge is over there like, I'm moving things. I hate those sponges. Are you gonna give it a go, or?
Let me see if I can remember how to do this. No, not like that. Sorry. I'm not used to the control scheme right now.
Not the sponge again. The sponge is never over.
See, this is my method.
Oh,
no! Oh no, I didn't see that mink. Oh, go away. I'm sorry for screaming.
Ghost of the revenge of the sponge. I know.
Mercy. Come close,
If I find
but
the right color,
no, not you.
I could learn how to
Sir?
operate this machine.
Don't do that.
Is it going to be a nice headshot?
Don't do that. No, I wasn't going to shoot him. Because
Whoa!
if I shoot him, they all know I'm here. I just want him to stop looking for me.
You can silence strike.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's going to see me.
Just get back into the grasp
Yeah.
immediately. No, you're fine, you're fine.
Chicka.
Keep going. Nice.
Yeah, he doesn't know where I am. Yeah, go away.
And I need to tell you a mental note that I did change the sensitivity for the next stream.
Nobody judge me for how bad I am at combat.
Hello, Mum. How are you?
What? That was very sad.
How many hours do you already have in the chat? Me, 85 hours.
Oh, there was another horse alive? God damn it.
Hi, Chanté's mum. Mum, have you played since the embassy? Ghost of Spongima.
There we go.
I have 70 to 75 hours, around 70 hours, 80 hours, 110. I think I'm around 150-ish, 51, 120. At 94, and at the last main quest, but I'm doing all side stuff. Almost 100 hours, over 100. I think I'm around between 65 and 70. But there's still a few things I could do in the game, for sure. Lots of like relics and things like that.
Yeah. That's a couple that are quite well hidden.
I'm only at 30. I was at 40. Oh no, Meg! What happened? Oh, saved over 10 hours? Oh, it sucks, dude.
I'm sorry. That, yeah.
Meg! I don't want to talk about it. I'd have more but school. You gotta prioritize school.
I'm wondering if we should just trigger the No, we have to finish the embassy for that. Goddammit.
I can happily do the embassy.
Well, it's mostly because right now the. Oh no, wait.
Remember, I have the best.
See, I just want the fashion. I immediately go to the tailor. I was mostly thinking that because after that we should get the day-night cycle back. Because right now it's just going to stay day, so we get that nice lighting for the embassy.
Oh, yes.
Buy and equip, right? Because we wanted this one. There you go. Can we get upgrades for it already?
You played since the embassy? Where are you at now? My mum's in the chat. My mum comes to every stream.
That's so sweet.
Just played the game this morning. What are you going to do?
Huh?
I said, what are you going to do? Upgrading.
Yes, I'm just trying to make this new bow immediately better because you said it's your favorite.
Because you're kind.
Yeah.
Hey, is this a one-off or will you stream the whole game? We are going to stream the whole game.
Yeah.
Oh, we will. It'll be tough, but we will.
Let's go for it. Boom. The best
Oh, yes.
of sharpshoot bows.
We are streaming the whole game today.
Yes. We are locked into this room and we're not leaving.
Whole story or 100%? Me and Anna were saying that we were going to do 100%, but we'll see how it goes. We're definitely going to do the whole story and at least all of the errands, all of the side quests. But if we're going to get like all of the data points, it's a different story. I think we'll have to play that kind of thing by ear. But we're definitely aiming to do as much as possible. Going to do races? Yes. Have you done all the races, everyone? Have you met who's at the end of the races?
Yeah, no spoilers in chat, but also
it's worth doing if you want to have a callback to Zero Dawn.
Yeah, I love the races.
Yeah.
For various reasons. Whoa, that was me not.
What?
Damn. I don't know if it's because I'm so close to the screen or because it's just different controller settings than at home, but wow, that horse did some swerves.
No spoiler, but the reveal was great. I hate who's at the end of the races. No! I say crazy driver.
Yeah, this is me kind of drunk driving this horse. I'm sorry.
You were in the tavern for too long. Ah! Ah! Oh no!
Oh no! Ah! There's a reason I work on settlements, okay?
But I didn't know there were races. No.
Oh, they're really fun. I love them.
Petra's drinks are getting to you. Completed all races, cauldrons, rebel camps, and hunting grounds. Aces, dude. Aces.
All right, I should find whoever's in charge here.
Yeah, bring it on.
Four balls, are you ready to race?
But only in this game. I'm not good at Mario Kart. Oh, this is just because we're just passing it. This is another fun little tidbit. Is these chains that are put in here? Because of course, Barren Light has a bit of a gruesome history. It's the gate into the west for Aloy, but it was also the gate into the east and into the Red Raids for the Utara and for the Tenakth, right? So this was kind of the place where if you haven't escaped by now, you are now a slave. Once you pass these gates. So we wanted it to be a really impressive and menacing structure that's being rebuilt here, and the environment artists to pay homage to that history and to have kind of, that scar of the Red Raid still on it. We put these chains at the start where a statue of the Mad King would have stood, because it's an ugly stain on the Karja history, and Barren Light certainly bears the mark of it. That's also why the courtyard has so many cells in it, because this was a place where prisoners were brought to then be pushed into the Sundom. And now for a lighter topic of talk, it's my best friend. I hear he's a bit divisive in the chat, but it's my boy.
You taking the edge off?
Huh. I mean, I'd ask you to join, but who'd be left to save the world, right? All right, now let me guess. You're in a rush.
Shout out John Hopkins.
You did a fantastic job.
Yeah, you did.
How have things been since
Your silent departure? Yeah, not bad. Vanguard's going strong.
It's fine, Aaron. I'd be salty
Helped
too.
Avad pick up the pieces after the battle with the Eclipse. I took a month to bury Ursa in the clay. But when I got back, I got the assignment to babysit Wadis on his way to the embassy. I thought that'd be a cakewalk, so of course
the
things went
Fred
sideways.
You got blindsided. Wasn't your fault.
That is
A couple
so
more days, maybe I'll
good.
believe you.
I was
Studious, Waddies. They missed the studious.
Like you wanted.
Yeah.
He does need to carry that around and
Just seen the
little
crowd
badge.
pay their respects.
A little name tag.
Studious.
Studious.
In the end, everybody
love
drank.
Waddies.
It's the rowdiest
What a
funeral
perfect
since,
piece of work.
Since ever.
Feels like she would have liked that.
Yeah, damn straight. Damn straight.
I love this chat.
She would have
Yeah.
put them all under the table.
Yeah, I think that's a very real conversation.
It's a very emotional line, that one.
Right?
What do you know about the embassy?
Oh, yeah, not much. Only
I
the
think that's
Avad
what I
really
always liked
wants it to
about
happen.
Aaron is that he clearly
He
has
said
a
he'll
lot of
make
stuff going
peace
on.
with these Tanakh. But from what I hear, they're not too big on
Some
the whole
people
diplomacy. They
compartmentalize
do most of the
differently and
talking with
whatnot.
blades
I
and
think
arrows.
Aaron kind of wears
So
everything
if
on
you're
his
heading your
sleeve.
way,
Yeah.
be prepared.
Right, I always found
Things
that
might get
very,
ugly real fast.
very relatable.
I'll keep that in
Yeah.
mind.
Oh, you're looking so sad.
What do you know about this place?
No, nothing good.
Yes.
It's where the
Tell me
Carja
about the
dragged
city.
all the captives they took from the Forbidden West during the Red Raids. Lucky ones became slave labor. The rest were hauled off to the Sun Ring and Meridian.
Your sacrifice.
You got it. Tanakh made sure to wreck the place before they chased the Carja out of the West. I can't say I blame them. And now Avad's paying the Osram to rebuild it. And no matter how much new stone they put up, it'll still be stained in blood.
See ya.
Yeah, I better get going.
Don't
Sorry.
worry, stop. Just, are you sure about this? Yeah, I'm saving the world. That sounds like a lot for just one.
Aaron.
Yeah, all right. Can't blame me for trying.
Aloy has always felt like Erin's surrogate big sister to me.
Yeah.
I think that's very much the void that she kind of fills for
Yeah.
him. This kind of sibling
I know where to find you.
sad relationship
Hopefully
where
sober
Aloy's
next time.
obviously grown up alone.
Yeah.
You know, doesn't really know how to fill the
careful
sibling
out there,
void, but
Yeah.
Aaron is like,
Right.
you know,
Right.
I see you as a sibling.
Right? Like, Aaron is almost casting her for a role that her life didn't quite prepare her for.
Yeah.
Which I think is always something that I like about the
The
way
dynamic.
these two talk to each other, right?
Yeah.
Like Aaron is clearly someone who grew up having friends.
Being constantly surrounded
yeah.
by people.
And Ella's just like, oh, attention, what?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, no, yeah,
Lighten
talk
up,
to
Haif.
you.
You've got a thick wall of stone between you and the Tanakh.
Are you in charge around here?
Ah, apologies, no. That would be Commander Nozar. I'm Lawan, the second in command. So, what brings Aloy of the Nora to Barren Light?
I'm here for the embassy. I need it to happen so I can head west. And maybe now that Studious Wadis is here, we can finally get things underway.
Yes, the Sun Priest. Walked in practically kicking and screaming behind his escort. Really seems to like his scrolls.
I love Lawan.
But
Yeah,
the
me
embassy
too. I think he's great.
Commander
He's
Nozar has
so
signaled
good.
our readiness, but
I
the
love
Tanakh
his
marshals
face.
have yet to sound the
I
horn.
think he has so much personality and
All right, fine.
in just the way he
Let me through the
emotes.
gates then. I have my own business with them.
I'm sure
Great,
you
great
do,
job on
but I'm afraid
the
I can't.
animation team on that one.
Commander's orders. Normally, the gates are open for any who dare
And
to
also he
venture
wears a
out.
lot of purple.
Asaram
The
salvagers,
best color.
a few especially brazen Karja, but no one's allowed in or out before an embassy. Now we're open.
Animations are fantastic.
Once the Tanakh
Yeah,
left.
I love it. His shoes. I like
Yeah.
all their shoes, but I don't know. It's just something about the way that you see him move around and things.
Yeah, yeah.
So what happens at these embassies exactly?
Well, spoiler alert,
Most
Aloy, not what he
trade and
thinks.
negotiation. The
The
Karja
sweet
offer
bird
to
shoes,
take
yeah.
Yeah.
pieces of gear. In
They
exchange,
do look like they have a
the
little
Tanakh
peak.
return personal effects taken from Karja soldiers that fell during the Red Raids. This particular embassy, however, is a special case.
Because the Tanakh, they're handing over some sort of prisoner, right? A soldier named Fashav?
Ah, so you've
I
heard.
love how divisive Aaron is in this chat.
The exchange has got everyone on edge.
I think most
Never know if
characters
an
are, to
embassy's
be
going
fair.
Yeah.
well until
Yeah.
it's practically over.
Yeah, because a lot of them have quite the layers.
You said
Yeah,
something about
I like to
Tanakh
pause during the
marshals.
conversation choices and
Who
watch
are
the
they?
idle animation.
Tribes.
Same. I love seeing the conversations
Before
like
every
change,
embassy, they arrive,
yeah,
like
contingent
camera
of
angles and
soldiers from
whatnot.
each of their
I
three
enjoy that.
clans. Then, during the proceedings, they negotiate on behalf of their leader. And by
Currently playing
negotiating,
through Zero Dawn until
I
I
mean
play
stare
this
down
beauty.
our
Are you doing the
sun
Frozen
until
Wilds
they
as well?
concede.
The
Raib
mocap is on
over here
such
came
a
face to
totally
face with
different
them for
level
the
in
first
this
time at
game.
the last
Agreed.
embassy. Came back drenched in his own sweat.
It was hot that day, sir.
It was indeed.
Definitely doing Frozen Wilds as well. No, you just did that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
have. Okay.
Where is this Commander Nozar then? If he's the one keeping the gates shut, I'll convince him to open them for me.
I'll take you to him, but I have to warn you. The commander isn't one to break protocol, especially when he's already high-strung.
We'll see about that.
Off we go.
There's a lot of activity going on
Walk
around
us
here.
up that ramp.
The Tanakh tore down this place during the Red Raids. 2 years of labor.
There's a chest here.
Still have a long way to go. The
Whoa,
workshop and
whoa.
Chanté's great halt in our rebuilding efforts.
Yeah, there is.
But I
There we
hear
go.
a certain Nora got them back to work.
I was just helping out.
Yes, well, I'm sure Olvin was thrilled.
Not my best job there. Yeah, again, I really like how Barren Lights is clearly a place that's quite old, but that needs a lot of work now. So it has all of this scaffolding covering it up, and then it has these like awesome constructions.
Soldier? Sir?
Like over there. That's how an officer builds scaffolding. This is how Karja builds scaffolding.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's really, really interesting and unique about this settlement in particular.
Yeah.
Now we get the view.
How are we to hold an embassy with a tribe that can't even govern their own people?
How dare you talk about my Tanakh babies like that?
Best balcony. Oh, why would that be?
I would actually continue on that. There's a balcony in Plainsong that I really, really like.
The one who
where the
cleared
board
valley
game
for
is.
you?
It's my favorite spot in all of Plainsong.
We appreciate your service. At least we are ready for the
Foibles.
embassy to begin.
What happened there?
Didn't you just give
we
the
got
signal?
it. We got to tell Moobot to chill out.
Both sides must signal readiness.
Emotional damage balcony.
Yea, for as the first shall be...
Shut up. Why the delay?
Too many periods. Don't do that again. No, we need to have a quick look at Moobot sometime.
You're just gonna wait? Go find out what's wrong.
Oh, this isn't some forgotten corner of the East where you come from, Nora. It's the Forbidden West.
Afternoon from foggy London, Guerrilla. Picked up. Is it foggy there? Interesting. Anyway, picked up this game yesterday and loving it so far. Just got to the opening cinematic credits part. Adored the first game. Yeah, glad to hear it.
Horn has sounded. Not even the savior.
Foibles and Moobot are gonna have a fight soon, no doubt about it.
Ooh.
Fisticuffs.
Yeah. Do you want? Okay.
Happy
I'll
to.
hand this over because I don't perform well in that fight.
The embassy is tough.
It is really tricky, which I think is very good for that spot.
Foibles and Moobot in the melee pit. You gotta do what you gotta do. I like Aloy isn't afraid to flaunt her saving Meridian a bit.
Yeah, because it was a ton of work.
Yeah. You have to, sometimes you just have to use it to your advantage.
Yeah, I'm glad she did it. That's my city right there.
Val.
Wow. It's now a horse boy.
Call.
Not let her through that gate. That is a direct order.
Sorry, can't do it.
Sir, it's the savior. I don't care if it's the Dowager Queen herself. The gate stays sealed until that horn blows.
I'm asking nicely.
I don't know what to do.
Hey,
F for the big. Can we get some Fs in the chat?
Yeah. It was good while it lasted. I also love that these two have
a little friendship.
Now.
Yeah.
Supporting fire? Yeah, I'm locked and loaded.
Hey, Nozar! You stupid bastard. You think you got the authority to keep that door shut in the savior of Meridian's face? What do you think Sun King Avad is gonna do when he hears what you did? Promote you, huh? Let it through, boys.
Saving the world.
Forget something back in Meridian?
Look, Varl.
It doesn't matter. Made it just in time.
Yeah. See, now imagine you're Tanakh coming from the other side and those gates close behind you.
You're
never going back home.
Tanakh. We need their permission to go west?
Yeah, well, I figured it'd be nice if they weren't trying to kill me the whole time.
Thanks.
But this
Have a
embassy
good
hasn't
rest of
started
your
yet.
day.
Yeah.
We're just gonna barge in?
It's no more politics. No more delays.
Oh well. Now at least you have some backup.
I guess I do. We'll see how it goes.
I know Vala's a good guy, but I would be a little more upset with Aloy leaving in the middle of the night. But I think we have to understand the dynamic of this relationship where like Val really understands the amount of pressure Aloy feels.
Yeah, he
on
knows
her.
her by now.
Yeah, like he knows that when she does things like this, she's not doing it to be cruel or mean to her. She's doing it to protect him.
Yeah, and I think you also have to remember like Varl's mother, right? Like Sona, also being a really strong and strong-willed woman.
Yeah.
Who's one of like the biggest figures I think in his life. So I think he really understands where Aloy is coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
Why she's the way she is, perhaps more so than some of the characters who are Nora and who didn't grow up around that tribe.
Val understands Aloy's upbringing too. She's been a loner her whole life. It's all she knows how to do. Yeah, exactly. I think it would be naive to think that Val didn't know of Aloy while they were in the Nora lands. Like he must have known, like, oh, there's that girl that lives over there. Don't go speak to her. No one's allowed to speak to her. You know. So
yeah, and she befriended like his sister right before she died. So right, like there's also that. I think that bond they share over Vala, who was kind of Aloy's first chance at really having a friend.
Yeah.
That's quite unique to them. Also, it's my man Fashav. Another favorite.
I don't know if we want to have this whole conversation. It's a long convo about Fashav's.
That's true. That's true. I can't forget that. I push us into that now.
No, it's okay. We can choose whether or not to have this convo. Do people want to have it? Or are they happy to move past this convo about Fashav?
You're Fashav. Vard gave me a message
Please
for
give
you.
the man his due. I mean, we can also take some questions in the meantime. So.
Now I'm even more curious about you knowing that you have the confidence
Push off DLC went well. I mean, I don't want to spoil what's about to happen, but I have news for you.
Can you still have the convo after the embassy? I'm not sure.
No, again, I have news for you.
I don't know if you can ever learn about him post. No,
I
think we should have it then.
That might help soothe painful grievances.
I think we should have it then. But if anyone has any questions or anything while it's happening,
I'm not here to cause trouble.
You can learn snippets via his writing.
Yeah, that's true. There's a bunch of data points from his point of view.
And you can speak to other people.
Yeah.
About him too. But anyway, no, we'll have the convo. It's a little bit long, but then we'll go into the fight.
Yeah.
I've never seen markings like those on a Karja before.
The Karja see ink as decoration. For the Tenakth, it is much more. A litany of deeds.
Were there any things that you learned while you were making? You mentioned the beer process and whatnot. Is there anything else that you kind of learned while making the settlements?
I learned a ton on that logging camp. I did not know how any of that worked. But yeah, we do quite a bit of research for like whenever we have processes like that. So I remember for the Otaru for farming, we looked into quite a bunch of like what would be the tools that they're using, what actually makes sense with these kind of with the grains or with the plants that they had. Yeah, the beer brewing process, I think it was a really big one. Trying to think, one where I didn't learn so much because this was already something I was nerdy about was the dye areas.
Okay.
For the Tenakth, like those big tubs. I was like, that is something that I really wanted to see because I'm very nerdy about fabrics. And I figured if they're a tribe that is so colorful, especially in their clothes, then that would be something that would be really nice to represent in the settlements, especially in the capitals, right? Like this idea that this is something that gets made here and then sent out to the smaller towns.
Yeah.
The plans overran our
where
foreign
we did
candidates
some deep Google
I
dives.
stayed behind to help the last stragglers evacuate and was taken prisoner.
Do we see how tattooing is done by the Tenakth? Yes. Yes. If you walk, I think it's in, it should be in all of the capitals. I know for sure it's in Scalding Spear and Thornmarsh, but I think the Bulwark also has it. There is an area where people are actively being tattooed.
Yeah.
So when you met the Tenakth chief, you did something desperate.
I kept my ears open as the Tenakth dragged.
Do you have a favorite settlement NPC to NPC interaction? You did mention the arm wrestling.
Yes, I like the arm wrestling a lot. There's another one. There's a specific little area in a small town called Falls Edge.
Even my freedom.
Yes, sorry, I remember a lot of them by their development names, which was Rivertown. But there's a small area in the back of the city where a bunch of Tenakth teenagers, out of view from the adults, are kind of like wrestling on a log, and it's right on a ledge over the waterfall.
Oh,
right?
really?
So
Okay.
in theory, like if you push someone off to the wrong side, they would fall all the way down there and seriously hurt themselves, and that is so we had that animation already. We'd made that for Mountain Tenakth, and when we got to that settlement on the waterfall, I was like, I want to put in a platform where they're doing this in the most irresponsible way possible, because to me that is very, very Tenakth. Like just living on the edge.
What would they do if someone actually fell off? They'd be like, oh no.
Yeah, like to be like, well, sucks to be you, I guess. I guess you fell. That was actually something when we built Plainsong, because like I mentioned, I fell a lot. Like I fell out of my own city. I fell off of walkways, and we were considering putting a bunch of railings on them. And I was in favor of not doing that. I figured we needed some other way to kind of like warn the players of where an edge is. Because in my mind, if you're Taru and you live in a city like that, you know very early on not to fall out of it, right?
Yeah.
Like that is something that becomes very natural to you if you live in a place that is that elevated and that has that kind of height difference. Like you wouldn't need those safety railings.
Yeah.
Like living in a very rainy area, you always bring an umbrella because you know that's just what it is.
Yeah. Well, question to you, how did you become a game designer?
Yeah. Oh, did you study in Germany and then move to the Netherlands? No, actually, I moved to the Netherlands. I studied here. I went to Breda University of Applied Sciences in the south of the Netherlands. And then I did an internship at Guerrilla.
So then,
and I'm still here 6.5 years later. So yeah, it was absolutely like a dream come true, right? Like I knew I would have to do an internship somewhere in the industry, and it was a little bit of a gamble. Even applying to Guerrilla, I was like, the chances of getting that are so low, and then we were at a really great stage for Horizon Zero Dawn for me to come on. So it's just been an absolute blast and a dream come true.
Karja talk about Hikari.
What's the major difference in my approach between working on Zero Dawn and Forbidden West? Yes, absolutely. Simply because, like I just said, I was an intern on Zero Dawn. So that was kind of the first big thing I had ever done, and I think I was learning a lot of things on the job that coming into Forbidden West, I knew I could apply. And that went for the whole team structure of Living World as well. Like we were a very new team and a very young team because Killzone was a very different franchise and called for very different things. Like there wasn't really anything like the settlements in there, so that was a complete workflow that was really new. And I think we learned a lot about how to make a city feel alive in Zero Dawn, so that in Forbidden West we could apply those things from the get-go, right? Like so we could build the very layout of a city to facilitate those things and to really put the culture at the forefront and have these really visual elements that were easy to animate, that could add to kind of the movement of it all. Like there was a lot that we learned on Zero Dawn and then committed to apply it in Forbidden West, and there were a lot of people involved with that, like across multiple disciplines, right? Like having designers, having artists, having animators, having AI programmers, that like from the get-go kind of said like, okay, I think we've got something here. Let's commit to that. Let's expand that. Let's really push for that. And the result is Forbidden West.
A labor of love.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
I'll tell you, but you won't like my answer.
I had a Tanakh
6
NPC
months ago,
sneeze after I talked to
the
them
world
the other
almost
day.
ended.
Fun fact, if you've noticed, the
still
Utaru
exists.
have a cuff that nobody else
getting worse every
shares.
day. Much
That is
worse.
a gesture. Yeah, that is a
Calling
thing
down
on the gesture
storms,
system
poisoning the
because they
water,
live in a
raging
blighted area.
machines.
And the blight spores are
source of it all
airborne
has
where
gone
they're at.
west.
So they will cuff
And I'm
a
the only
lot
one who can
harder
stop it.
when they're near
I've seen the
those blight
signs.
spores. And if you do
And I've heard
fix the
tales of
terror fail, then that
incredible
should go away.
occurrences in Meridian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was again something that one of our
Vanquished by a
animators
red-haired
put
champion.
in and put a lot of effort
So I'm
into.
inclined to believe you.
I'm loving this guy in the background. He
Burden
looks
of your task
huge.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he's
His
so
arms.
buff. He,
I'll grant you this.
he could throw you with that.
He's got like a crazy silhouette.
As a Dutch person, the verticality of the settlements is mind-boggling. I come from a very flat part of Germany, so I join you in that.
He's built like a tank. He is
He
very
is.
like very large. Like everyone else looks quite
Chief Hikaru
like
knows the
the shoulder pads and whatnot quite slim in comparison.
Yeah.
I was just shocked to see him in the background
He
during
can
that.
be intimidating
Yeah.
to others, but don't let that deceive you. He is a man of his word.
Maybe. If I need him.
Your choice. You can find
swallowed
him in
the
his
bus.
place, vast mountains to the southwest. Tell him I sent you.
I use mountain
He'll
Tanakh.
listen
What
to
do they eat again? I think they eat a
Sky
lot of...
Clan's banner.
I think Sky Clan has a lot of game meat. They're
Love seeing the
hunters.
yeah, I love seeing the
Yeah.
tall neck in the background there. I did want to. Oh, here we go.
Our man.
You mentioned earlier that you were on the quarry section quite early on.
Yes.
And you didn't see. Maybe you weren't a part of how much it developed like afterwards. Are there any other places that you were kind of like super excited to see kind of turn out the way that they did?
Oh, yes, yes, for sure. So I think the quarry is just a case of I did the first pass and then it moved on and then said you come back and like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Plain Song, despite being on that from the start and continuously working on it, blew me away every time there was another pass. Plain Song, when it got its first lighting pass, was absolutely magical, and I highly suggest anybody who's only seen That City by Daylight walk through it in the night. It is absolutely stunning. I think there was a similar thing with Saltbite. Saltbite, I'd seen some pictures of it, some paintings, because I didn't work on that one directly at the start. I came in a lot later. So I'd seen some paintings of it being like kind of built on a derelict plane, and I kept on hearing people talk about and then they have the plane parts in that, but I couldn't quite visualize it, and then I saw it being built. I was like, holy, that is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always like super gratifying to see something like that happen. But I also have to say, like, one thing that I think works really well for the settlement pipeline is we work together really closely with our artists.
Yeah.
So it won't be this thing where I do a design pass or I create a pitch and then I hand that over and I don't see it back. Like our environment, our team really keeps us in the loop, and there's a lot of back and forth on these things, so we kind of see them in progress quite a lot, and I think that also shows in the
Final product.
The final project.
Oh, I love her, Gala. I love her hair. I love her face.
She scares me.
She does. Her voice, her outfit. I love the like cloak. Yeah, everything about Regala.
It was so exciting to hear that we got Angela Bassett for that role.
Exile.
Because obviously sometimes you'll know about a character before you know who's gonna do the voice acting for it, especially as someone who doesn't work on these cutscenes or doesn't work with these type of characters. It's always really really cool to see when that comes in.
Yeah. Scold me, queen. I get chills every time she talks. She's amazing. Yeah, it's something about the like cadence of her voice, which is just perfect for this role.
They're riding machines.
Where'd they learn to do that?
Silence.
Vashav.
Right, I'll do my best here, everyone. This is a tricky fight.
This is a tricky fight. This was built by a designer who's done a lot of our trickier fights.
Yeah. How
Elroy's
to make the community cry when they play this section? Just make it really tough. That's how I felt anyway.
I mean, it's supposed to be hard, right?
I
Like,
know, it's a great fight. I think it really introduces you to how
Yeah.
dangerous Regala is.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
But the reward, yes,
Yeah.
true. The parallels to the Proving, delicious.
Yeah, fun fact, those are both Elroy quests.
Oh, really?
The same, yeah, that was the same designer as far as I know who built both of them.
Aloy getting flashbacks.
Yeah.
I tried to be stealthy in this, it's not possible.
Yeah, no, this is why I am bad at this, because you guys saw me try to kill a horse by just never having it spot me. You can't do that here. They already know.
They're not gonna make it.
I went into panic mode in this part. It's very scary to see all of these characters that you just spent a bunch of time with. You just, you know, had opinions on. Just this for this to happen to them.
Right? It's like the greatest warriors of this world, right? Like it's the Karja and the Tanakh. They are the hardiest of the tribes. So to see them of all people just get decimated like that, it stings. But
And you kind of feel bad hating Wadis? It's very sad.
Yeah.
But it really does like show straight on how dangerous Regala is, how much of a threat she is. That's why everybody knows about her. Everyone's talking about her.
Yeah. And I think also how different the Forbidden West is from the world of the first game, where these are not tribes that get along in the same way.
Not for sure.
Yep, that's what I was saying. We gotta do this talk now. We can't have it later.
Mr. Sharp, we just met.
I was really upset when I saw that the first time I played it.
Sad.
Because I thought he was so interesting, and I think like the first version I played of this quest, he didn't even have his voice acting yet.
He was just chilling.
But he just had such an interesting story. I mean, like, oh, he's a Karja who lived with the Tanakh.
Yeah.
That's super fascinating. It's like, oh wow. But he really is telling me a lot right now. And it's like, oh, it's because he can't later. Oh, god damn it.
Yeah.
I would have loved to hang out with him. Hey, bud.
Here they come!
I thought the person was on fire. But
Yeah, no, not yet. I think my strategy here tends to be tripwires.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm not a tripwire.
Yeah,
person.
just run. See,
What? See that? Did you see that, everyone?
I don't choose the direct confrontations. I just try to kind of, hamper everyone's progress around me, and then finish them off by hand.
This is a tough fight.
Yeah, but that's also why it would take me like 45 minutes to beat this, which I don't think is very fun to see on stream. If I had a Twitch channel, it would definitely be games done badly. But that's the thing for all the prospect, game designers out there.
Yeah.
Guess what? You don't have to be good at doing combat in games to be good at designing games.
What are like your kind of top tips for people wanting to become game designers? What do you think they should kind of like look out for, maybe?
Yeah, I think to me the most important thing to develop while you're sorting out or while you're learning is your kind of your viewpoint and your approach, right? Like, what is the thing you look out for? And that can be very different for most people. I am very story driven, and I am very visually oriented, much more so than mechanically, which is also why I don't design combat spaces, because it doesn't really lend itself to that, but that's totally okay.
Yeah.
There's very different ways to approach design, and one thing I have kind of come to understand is that game design is not just sitting at your desk, opening an engine and building a level. it's drawing from your experiences in life. So other hobbies you have, other experiences you have are going to influence that. And if you have the chance by like working on a little, you know, on indie projects, on side projects, or through an education to try out different parts of design, even the ones that you have no interest in, it's going to make you much more like rounded package. Like I had to design combat spaces. I had to design multiplayer shooter maps in school, and even though I knew that wasn't probably where my career was going to head, it was super valuable to do because it'll teach you certain things that translate into your specialty, and also it'll teach you how to talk to people around you, right? Like around the piece you're working on.
Yeah.
So I had to do a course on horror game design, and I absolutely cannot survive a jump scare. But it was good that I did that, and I did a course on UI design, which is also something that I don't do, but I do in fact work with UI designers. For example, when I worked on the merchants, we had to figure out, okay, how do we how much of that do we want to put on the UI, right? Like, do we want to have the compass icon already visible when you enter settlement? And those are conversations you're going to have where it helps to understand the other side of things. So, to me, the best designers I've met and the designers I enjoy working with the most are just very well-rounded people. Who draw from a lot of different things and a lot of different experiences. And I think that's something that's very easy to lose sight of, especially when you're starting out. It's very easy to get intimidated by, but that person can build a level so much faster, right? Like, that person's first iteration looks better than my third iteration. It's like, that might be true, but A, that's a place where you can get to with practice, and B, that's not all it takes. And game design means a lot of very different things, depending on what project you're on and what team you're on. And there's room for very different personalities and skill sets.
Yeah. I'm dying.
Yeah, these things are really mean. They are so mean. But they're so fun when you're riding them.
Oh, yeah.
I love how chunky they feel.
Chain reactions are so satisfying in this game. Yeah, they did a good job.
There's a reason I melee a lot. It's just just doing like a bunch of combos and you knock someone over. So good.
You Outlanders! I'll skin you both!
Do you think it's ever too late to get into the gaming industry? Absolutely no. I know people who worked government administrative jobs and then in their 50s went into games and are absolutely brilliant at it now. And who, again, like, there are things that whatever your experiences before you teaches you. Like, it's not all technical skills. Absolutely not. I will say, like, to be fair, like, there are things that that are going to be strange about entering at an older age, right? Like, you're going to start with people like me who are still in school, graduating on the job, right? Who are in their early 20s and who maybe have a very different lifestyle and a different life rhythm from you, but that absolutely shouldn't discourage you from it. I think there's a lot of really valuable things to bring to this industry. If you're not 25-year-olds and fresh out of school, which is not to discredit the 25-year-olds like me, but I really enjoy it when a development team is quite mixed through. And when I was saying earlier that Living World is a young team, I mean relatively to stuff like our AI team, which has existed at this company for a long time. That doesn't mean we were all young people.
Yeah.
There! Now's my chance! Give it up!
I need some help. I can't believe Val here.
Yeah. So good.
What do you mean, Val?
Shield regenerated!
Her mother is about to get her bachelor's degree at 50, and I'm so proud of her. Hell yeah. Good for your mom. I'm proud of her too. That is amazing.
I want to use... Actually, no. Oops.
First time I just hit this dude with the spear until I realized I had inadvertently undressed him. Did you enjoy that experience?
Also, the lights have just turned on, everyone.
Yeah.
Why does this keep happening?
Don't know if they said it's sad that we're sitting in a dark room. Maybe the plants need it.
Whoa! Has anyone actually tried to use the blast sling in this fight? Anyone? I'd be interested to know if it does anything. Nice dodge.
It feels like it'd be hard to aim against a single character who moves that much.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so rude.
Need to break his guard.
I do not remember how I do that. Because usually against humanoids, I will just melee them to death. And that's very hard when he has a shield.
He is very quick.
He's so quick. Whoa!
That shield's not gonna save you. There, he's exposed.
Yeah, get him!
Has anyone used the blasting in this? Anyone? How many headshots can one man take? I know it's
Yes, I blew his clothes off him.
What? Really? That's interesting.
It might be doing like a tear damage thing. I panicked at this fight. Me too. Me too.
GG's everyone, well done.
Here and face me.
No!
No.
It was an honorable challenge. You've earned your life today.
Oh, I'm just going to turn the lights off quickly.
Yes.
It's a bit odd.
Yes.
I'm very bright all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm in the shadier corner of the room.
Oh!
That was more light.
It's a bit odd. There's just one light.
I used the fire blast sling on him at first, you know, as a warm-up. That's a real knee slapper.
No. Everyone, when you were playing Forbidden West, and you did this, people that had watched the story trailer, did you recognize this as the person that was in the story trailer? We knew that he wasn't, you know, Kotalo at the time. We didn't know who he was. But did you recognize at the embassy that was the person from the story trailer? I'd love to know, because I actually didn't the first time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, who's this? Who's this guy? Seems interesting.
Take you back to the
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant people here have a much better memory for faces than I do.
Recognize that spear throw instantly. Yeah, that's true.
That's true. That was a signature move.
I was keeping an eye out for him. Yeah. But I didn't catch that his arm was ripped off. Well, that was something that we didn't showcase in the trailer actually. The kind of devastation of these fights.
Yeah.
I feel like we watched the story trailer a normal number of times. It was inevitable.
We are not here to shame you.
I recognized he wasn't the man sitting in the big chair. Yeah, Hikaru. No, I don't think people, we kind of designed the trailer not so that you wouldn't know about his arm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scenes where you see him with that arm kind of behind him.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's the Ostrom immediately looking for scrap.
But like, I remember seeing the social media and the Reddit threads being like, "Oh my gosh, that one guy, he like actually was pushing like all his strength against the machine. He stopped them."
Yeah.
I was like, well, at what cost?
Yep. Yeah. Ah, there it is. Okay. No more falling to our death.
Aloy.
My loot.
I remember when we actually got the shield wing internally. It was so exciting. I think one of the first things I did was climb up the tower calling screen to see how far I could go.
Yes. Where did everyone do their their longest glide?
Oh.
I did it with on the Tanakh mission where you do the equivalent of their proving, where you climb up to the top of the mountain with that guy, and then I glided on the way down. But I didn't. I can't remember what that quest is called. But I didn't. I was just like, woohoo!
Is that Edelweiss? Is that the one where you get the flower?
Yes.
Yes, and that's. I think that's Edelweiss.
Same one for me.
Lies over the mountains that border Plainsong. Home of
from the
Utah
climb mission.
tribe.
After Silga's quest for me, okay.
Oh.
All
I don't
that
think I ever
out there,
taken anything from them there.
that's no man's land. It was
I
supposed
went back
to be
up to the top
neutral
of the
ground.
elevator in the dawn and glided down.
Obviously, this Regala ignored that.
Also go on.
Her rebels approached
Off
from
the top of the
north
base for signal
with
spy.
all those machines they were riding.
Longest was a random clear.
Oh, I just love it so much.
I did the long glide after I glitched out the map and went into a long descent.
Oh no!
How would that even be possible?
Well, you saw a world beyond.
While you're at it,
I went down from the rebel camp in the mountains near the Gemini Tornec, but I thought I had a chance.
Yeah.
I think in the rain trace.
Yeah. Cliffwatch is a good settlement one as well, because you can get down on the way to the, like there's a cliff right behind it, but you get over the edge of the cliff and then keep going down into the forest. I like that one a lot.
It'll help me get the lay of the land.
I used to forget I have a glider. I climb down instead of just using it. I use it like constantly.
Yeah, me
I'll
too.
like run and do like a little bit of a jump and then just extend that jump as long as possible.
Yes, I will do like a glide on a 2-meter jump.
Yeah.
Just for the hell of it. It's just so fun. It's just so much fun.
Anybody been using the shield wing in the tornadoes? In the tornadoes around a desert location.
The lay of the land. And they knew Fashav was going to be handed over at the embassy. If the Tanakh weren't expecting her, she must have spent months gathering an army.
Wait, you can do that? Anybody been using them?
We're here to give good recommendations.
I was saying, I when I was playing, I was like, I didn't get like sucked into the tornado or anything, and I was like, have you used your shield wing? Whether there are tornadoes, they're just like tornadoes around the world because of the storm that we're aware of.
Yeah, no biggie.
No, but they're especially prevalent around a desert location. You go so high. I'm surprised nobody uses them for the longest glide.
Oh.
Accorded official rights.
Well, because I feel like the really long glides are the ones where you can kind of get past another cliff.
Yeah.
Whereas with a tornado, you can only ever get to the height where like, you started at.
That's true. It's true.
At least
But if you stay in it long enough, you'll glide the whole time. You know.
Oh, true.
No one deserves
Yeah.
to go out that way. I'll make sure they're given proper funeral rites. It's the least I can do.
Yeah, sorry, Lizzie. I think we're trying not to give away like super big story things, but
there's not much we could do.
Yeah. This is not a zero spoiler stream.
No, I think these streams we always said they were going to be spoilery, to be honest, which is why we started them relatively late in the we waited. We did the first stream and then waited a couple of weeks. Yeah. But it is fun.
It is fun.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think especially when we're joining in as developers, it's kind of nice to not have to limit what we're saying to what is on the screen right now.
For sure.
Right, like being able to talk about a couple of things that are relevant.
Adios, boys. Yes.
Okay.
So we need to do our skill points.
Oh.
I thought they said we had 147 then. I was like,
whoa, yeah. I mean, that is quite a bushel. You have.
Where's this one? Yeah, we'll take that.
Are you and Anna like coordinating your build?
Anna is like, no, we're not. But we do want concentration, Anna, right? Yeah. I'll take this one. Yeah. I'll make the choices.
Tell us in chat if you hate what we're doing.
To see if Anna would notice, but she did. She used them last stream. Didn't Anna use a couple of them last stream?
She's saying yes, so we're doing fine, okay?
I thought she used a couple of them last stream.
I don't claim to know that.
Who had 147? No, where it says the shards.
It's the shards, but...
I had read that as the skill points.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness, we have 147,
Which
but we
would have
don't.
been scary. I don't even know if we have 147 skills in this game.
I did. We leveled at the end of the stream. Yeah, I thought so.
Oh.
Where is she? Anna's in the chat.
Yeah.
Anna, how you doing? Is this not a no skill stream?
I mean, it's when I'm driving.
I never actually used high volley. Did anyone really use that one? Anna's one of us now.
I think I had it in one of the playtests, but so if we do internal playtests, I will usually pick a gimmick right at the start to try and, because we're looking for feedback on the game, right? And I'm like, well, I'm not the most interesting case for combat design because I'm not good at it, but I would like to see if I can break this game with a cheese strategy. So that one where my gimmick was I wasn't going to kill a single mink.
Oh yeah, one of the
because they
borrowers,
are too damn cute. So it's like, how far in your quests can I get while ignoring one of our most common enemies by just like always sneaking around them? And then another one, I said I was only going to do melee.
Okay.
So that's why I like the short bow quite a lot. I was like, I was only going to do melee and maybe the really short bow.
I triple not too much, triple shot all day, same. Yeah. Braces shot is so fun. I never really used it, but I've seen other people using it, and it looks very good.
I probably wouldn't be standing here right now. Nasty business.
It's not a real fight. Have you told me?
I made the mistake of practicing with my OP Horizon Zero Dawn Aloy before playing Forbidden West. I really missed the concentration to put all my points into that early on. I was pretty much using Hunter and Warrior early on. I always miss when I try a high volley.
We have another question that I think would be really interesting for a character artist about Ostrom.
Yeah, Grinning Hazard.
Yeah, they did. So I do know that the Ostrom civilians got a full new design, got updated, and we wanted to differentiate between regular civilians, the kind of people that are Barren Line and Chain Scrape, and then the people who are pushing for the West. Kind of more of the Prospector types. Like I think there was a location later, like a little Ostrom camp that we pitched as a bit of an Oregon Trail feeling almost. So it's kind of like they're following the Gold Rush, but this is a really rough area, so they should look a little more prepared for sleepless nights.
Is this the Michael Sarah Osserup kid?
Yeah. By the way, I think in theory if we head back into the towns, we should have a day and night cycle now, but we can also keep.
No, we can go back. Yeah, we can go back.
And also Barren Light, I believe, is in a little bit of a different state actually right after the embassy because of course a bunch of people just died.
Yeah.
So it should not be business as usual, and that's also kind of a thing that with the team that I'm on that we were trying to bring out in certain moments where it makes sense, where if something really big happens or changes,
it doesn't just move. They just go business as usual.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Then the civilian should really reflect that. So the biggest instance for that is Plainsong.
Yeah.
Plainsong is very different before you fix the blight.
Yeah.
And afterwards they get frisbees, for example.
What?
Yeah.
I never noticed.
Yeah, there's a couple people like in the fields and around the city. Yeah, so a lot of like the kind of the almost refugee type characters that you see at the start that are like sitting in the city and overcrowding it and are very like sad and weak from the starvation afterwards spill out into the fields. So you see a couple people kind of like farming the fields now that they're no longer blighted, and there's people with frisbees, which it's one of my favorite things. And I was like, oh, I hope people see it because it's so late in the game. But they really shouldn't be throwing frisbees around while they're starving. It's not happy fun times yet. So yes, some people have seen it. I'm glad. I'm very glad. So yeah, we did a bunch of those. I think Saltbite is another one. Where that's another of my favorite little crowd moments. There's in a lot of the Tanakh towns, there'll be a specific area where the teenagers are hanging out. It's quite often in like a little bit. Yes, so like a lot of people are in the courtyard now, kind of gathering instead of at their workstations trying to make sense of what just happened. And yeah, there's a section at Saltbite where a bunch of teenagers are hanging out and just kind of sparring with each other and like trying to learn how to fight where the parents aren't watching them. And of course, because Saltbite also gets befallen by a bit of a tragedy, if you come back later, most of those teenagers are gone, and there's just kind of one person left who has come back, and all the others either fell or are living in a different place now where it's a little safer. we'll like come back later when we have more settlements unlocked. We'll see. We'll see how this goes.
We're open to it.
Yeah, I'm certainly open to it. You're a very lovely community. I think there's also a lot of other interesting people to talk to.
Yeah, we've already had some questions in the chat that other disciplines
Yeah.
would be able to answer. But when we were looking for our first guest, we were talking about someone from the Living World team. But we did also think about character art, machines. So there are a couple of people who were like, you know, we mentioned to them, oh, we'd love to have you on a stream soon. And they're open to it. So I don't know when the next one will be. Maybe when we get to plain song, it'd be nice to have someone from art on or something like that, character art. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But we definitely, you know, want to have people on chatting about it. Please leave me alone. Let's get back
shout
to it.
out to Paper Bird Thrower. I'm glad someone spotted that as well. That's another one that
I'm climbing. I don't want to climb.
that our animators may know are really, really excited about. It's just so cute. Saw a guy carrying a seagull yesterday. Oh, is that in Salt Bites? That is another pride and joy of the Living World team, is that whole cycle of people shooting down the birds and then other people coming to bring them in, because of course that part of the Tanakh, they live in a desert. There's not a lot of food around, so you have to really look into how would, especially a tribe as buff as the Tanakh, feed themselves. And Saltbite, the idea was very much this is a settlement that does have, due to the ecotop that they're in, has access to a lot of birds. So they're a big bird hunting town and feed a lot of the rest of the tribe.
Will we see Ben McCall on the stream? I'd love to have the narrative team on here at some point too. I do think it's becoming more and more likely that we will do a second season of GaiaCast, which is primarily dominated by the narrative team, because they kind of took us through, you know, the game. They kind of took us through the episodes via the story. So I think it's likely that we will have a second season of GaiaCast. Like, it's on our radar to do. So, like, I'm not sure if we'll have narrative on these streams, because we'll take a lot of their time doing GaiaCast, which is why we have been backstory, which is why we have been pushing everyone, if you have questions, to put them in the hashtag Horizon GaiaCast. But yeah, like, that's not to say that we won't have narrative on. I'm not sure if we'll have Ben on, but we may have Annie. But I think, it'd be great to do a second season, you know.
Yeah, that'd be really great.
Yeah.
I also saw someone calling out one of my other favorite things, the pet vulture, meat.
Yeah.
I love meat very dearly.
Meat is great. Every step
Only the
you
vulture
take.
meat. I'm vegetarian, but that vulture I love very much.
No, we'll go back. Let's go see Petra.
Yeah, let's go see Petra.
Oops, yeah.
Well, yeah, I did that too. That door wasn't always there, okay? Sometimes I remember the old layout. Yeah, they're arm wrestling again. We specifically put the arm wrestlers on that corner because I knew that was going to be cool.
Yeah.
More, huh? Another round
Best
here?
girl. I would die for
you've
me.
been
A lot of
busy.
these lines are great out of context, you guys.
As for me, I'm gonna need a few more of these
But I will
before I
pass
get
them
back
on
to the
to
forge.
the people who worked on that.
Well, things aren't as
Good
bad
job,
since you got this
Marianne.
place
Good
running
job.
again.
Yeah.
But we still got Olvin grating the gears about his concession decree. If you don't put that down, I'll come over there and show you how that game ends. Anyway, right now, I'm just worried about those refugees out from Sunfall. To come all this way enduring Forge knows what.
Shadow Carja refugees. What are they doing in the Daunt?
Looking for a new home, I gather. They're camped out by an old trailhead, southwest of here. And
Those would
therein
be
lies
Annie
the
for the
problem.
face.
A storm blade
I don't
crashed
know
up
if your
on the
face
cliffs
would
last
appreciate
week,
that.
And Talon Cleanbrokers had his eye on the salvage ever
Oh,
since.
this was a great side quest,
But the
one of my
refugees
favorites.
barred entrance.
Glad to hear
Mustn't
it.
interrupt their sun.
Oh yeah, with the refugees, yeah.
Something
I
about
think that's
finding
one
a
of Idris's
twilight
quests.
path.
Huh.
Yeah, she did a really great job
Never
on
heard
that.
them talk about that before.
Yeah, well, these particular Shadow Carja are an odd bunch, but overall they're peaceful folk. Not that it matters to Talent. He'll crack some heads to get to that salvage. Maybe you could swing by, convince him to set up camp somewhere else?
We are coming up to the end of the stream. So is there anything that you like want to shout out? Any other people? Anything that you'd like the community to maybe take a closer look at in the game? Anything? And like kind of like last words before maybe you come on for another time.
I mean, yeah, absolutely shout outs to the wider Living World team. Like this is absolutely not a settlement built by two people.
So they're
This
just
is
camped
a
outside
settlement built by quite a lot. You know, I'm not going to name them individually because then I risk missing one and that will forever haunt me. But yeah, I think absolutely like a place like this doesn't come together because a designer has a nice idea. A place like this is built by a lot of artists, by audio people, by programmers building the systems that allow for this, by so many animators and character artists and texture artists putting all those little layers into it. And I would invite everyone in this community to take a break from fighting the big machines and just take a walk in a settlement. We really try to build them as a respite from the more stressful parts and as a nice little stroll and a nice little bit of grounding you in that world. And yeah, I think there's a lot of fun little hidden corners to discover. And absolutely check them out at night. Some of them look absolutely beautiful in different lightings, and they do change throughout the day if you walk around. So
I could have a word with him first.
Touch the virtual grass and have a look around. Yes, exactly.
Shout out to Anna. I hope she feels better. Yeah.
Yeah. We miss you.
Miss you, Anna. Hope you come back and play the game next time. I think we should go take one last look at the
sawmill.
At the sawmill. I should find it.
Our best friend. Yes.
This
absolutely.
way.
I'm so glad that people are having fun with this because I know this was not an easy feat to build technically. There's so many places that go into this in the game. Just getting those chains to work correctly. Took people doing some really incredible technical things, and having all these little pieces interconnect, because this is not one large block that we just plop down and it's sawmill. These are individual pieces, right? Like the chain bit that moves up, that's an individual piece. All of these animations are individual pieces that characters are playing now, but in the middle of the night they're no longer going to do it. They're going to go to sleep somewhere. So it really is a lot of thought and a lot of work that goes in from so many people, and I'm grateful that I got to be one small part of all of that.
Yeah.
And that people really seem to appreciate all the effort we put in. That is super gratifying to hear about.
Yes. Well, I think that's pretty much it for today, everyone. I'll go back to us. How odd to be sitting in this chair.
Oh yeah, that's right. I took your seat.
But we really hope that you enjoyed learning a bit about what the Living World team does. You've been a fantastic guest. You were great.
Thank you so much.
I learned so much.
This was super fun.
No, it's really enjoyable. Do you want to, for anyone that wasn't here at the intro, do you want to just introduce yourself again?
Yes. For anybody who missed it, I am Jana Stadler. I am a game designer with the Living World team, so we're kind of the shepherds of all the settlements in the game. We brought you Chainscrape, we brought you Barren Light, and we brought you a lot more down the line. I hope you all enjoyed very much.
Yes. Everyone, like we said, we are looking at having like other devs come on these streams. So if there are any questions that weren't answered today, but you'd still love to know about, just tune in for another one. Like we're looking at having lots of different disciplines on these streams. And of course, like we said, we'd also love to do a second season of GaiaCast, and if you have any questions, please use #HorizonGaiaCast to share them. More streams like this are great, yeah, for sure. I think it's great to kind of have people come on and share like their experiences making a game that a lot of people enjoy, a lot of people love. Glad to see women in this industry. Yes.
Absolutely. And I'm not the only one on my team.
No.
There's a lot.
Yes. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Like we said, yes, continue to use #HorizonGaiaCast. Continue to maybe even let us know via socials, like a certain discipline that you'd like to have on one of these streams. Like we said, like I mentioned earlier, like character art is definitely something that we'd love to speak more about. Talking about the machines, animations, their design, stuff like that. So if you have like any questions or any people that you'd like to hear from, like discipline-wise, just let us know via social social media and whatnot, and we can take a look at bringing someone on. I think it's great if we bring people on around a time where they can actually talk about it.
Yeah,
so it's great having you on
for
this section. The sound team, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Outfit designs,
Yeah.
please just like let us know via social media. I don't know, maybe use hashtag Horizon Guycast again, just because that's a dedicated hashtag and we can kind of decide if they would come on for Guycast, if they'd come on for a stream. I think that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Machine designers, please just continue to use hashtag Horizon Guycast for any questions, any like disciplines you want to hear from and whatnot, and we'll see about bringing them on. But yeah, now sing, huh? I don't know if the audio will play, but
I am
we'll give
in
it a
fact
shot.
going to do karaoke after this, but not on stream.
But thank you so much, everyone. We hope you enjoyed today. We will be back next week. I think it will be me and Anna again, kind of pushing forward to Plain Song. So join us same time, same place. Ciao, everyone. Bye-bye.